Hello students, today we are going to begin first chapter of your book of physics, electric charges at rest, electrostatics. This is the first topic of electrostatics, and in this topic we will study mainly two things. One, basic properties of charges, and other is the Coulomb's law, and then we will do the numericals over the Coulomb's law. So today we will discuss only these two topics, basic properties of charges and Coulomb's law. So first we know that what is charge and how it is produced. So see here, there are, as we know that there are two types of charges. You already know two types of charges. One is positive charge and other is negative charge. Now what is positive charge? So what is the definition of positive charge? When we rub a glass rod with the silk cloth, then the charge which is acquired by the glass rod is known as the positive charge. Means charge similar to the acquired by glass rod when it is rubbed with the silk cloth, similar to the charge acquired by glass rod. When it is rubbed with silk cloth, that charge is considered as the positive charge. As we know that when we rub the glass rod with the silk cloth, then it acquires the property of attracting the tiny bits of papers. It means that glass rod has become charged, and that charge is considered as the positive charge. Now there is one negative charge. It is similar to the charge acquired by ebonite rod when it is rubbed with the skin of cat. Similar to charge acquired by ebonite rod when rubbed with cat's skin. So these are the two types of charges. Now see here, now the question arises that what happens when glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth? Then how the glass rod becomes positively charged, or how the ebonite rod becomes negatively charged? So this phenomena was firstly observed by the Thales, when he found that when umber is a material, when it is rubbed with the wool, then umber acquires some charge. It acquires the property of attracting the tiny bits of the straw, tiny bits of the paper. So later he done some more experiment and he found that there are two types of charges. One is the positive charge and other is the negative charge. And these charges are producing because of the transference of electron from one material to the other. For example, this is the glass rod and this is the silk cloth. Here it is a silk cloth and this is the glass rod. Both are made up of neutral atoms. As we know that atoms are neutral. It is clear, both are made up of atoms, means they don't have any net charge. They don't have any net charge. But in every material there will be some free electrons, even in the insulators also. In the insulators also there are the free electrons. What are the free electrons? Those electrons which have become free from the valence shell of an atom. Its number is very high in case of conductors. In conductors, free electron varies from 10 to the power 24 to 10 to the power 29 per meter cube. Means in 1 meter cube volume there are how many free electrons? 10 to the power 24. 10 to the power 24 means 1 के आगे 24 जीरो लिखे. But in insulators it is 10 to the power 14 per meter cube. It's clear. So every substance, whether it is a conductor, insulator or semiconductor, all are having the free electrons. So when the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, what happens? There will be the net transference of electron from glass rod to the silk cloth. Means some electrons will get transferred from glass rod to the silk cloth. And when, as we know that electron is a negatively charged particle, it is having a negative charge. So when electron will get transferred, it will acquire a positive charge equal to the 10 electrons, and it will acquire a negative charge equal to 10 electrons. It is clear? Means what happens when we rub one body to the other? When one body rubbed with the other, there will be transfer of electron from one body to the other. When there will be the transfer of electron from one body to the other, then the body which is losing electrons, electrons are negatively charged. The body which is losing electrons will lose the negative charge, and when it will lose the negative charge, it will become positively charged. And the other body which is gaining the electrons will gain the negative charge, and therefore it will become negatively charged. And here the amount of charge on both bodies which have been rubbed together will be equal and opposite. One is positively charged, other is negatively charged. Means the body which positive charge produces because of what? Produces because of loss of electron. Produces due to deficiency of electrons. While negative charge produced due to the excess of electron. Due to excess of electrons. Now see here. Now the question arises, why electron get transferred from one body to the other? So it is because of the friction. Because of the friction, electron get transferred from glass rod to the silk cloth, or electron get transferred from cat's skin to the ebonite rod. From cat's skin to the ebonite rod, you can see here, this is the cat's skin. Cat's skin. And here this is the ebonite rod. Electron get transferred from this to this, and when electron get transferred from this to this, what will happen? It will become negatively charged and it will become positively charged. It is clear. So here electrons are transferring from one body to another when they are rubbed together because of the friction. That's why this phenomena of electrification of the bodies is known as frictional electricity. This property we name as frictional electricity. What is frictional electricity? It is the property of electrification of the body. Electrification means charging of the bodies. Bodies get charged. It is the property of electrification of the bodies when they are rubbed together. This is what is frictional electricity, property of electrification of bodies when they are rubbed together. So see here, You can see here I have told that there are how many types of charges, positive and negative charges. Now in what is positive charge, what is negative charge, how they are produced? They are produced because of the transfer of electrons from one body to another. When electron will get transferred from one body to the other, bodies will get equally and oppositely charged. The body which gains the electron will become negatively charged. The body which loses the electron will become positively charged. It's clear? And this property, by virtue of which bodies get electrified when rubbed together, it's called the, when electrification of bodies when they are rubbed together, it's known as the frictional electricity. It's clear? Now you know about the unit of the charge. So unit of charge is coulomb, and charge is what type of quantity? It is a scalar quantity. Its unit is coulomb. Now what is the dimensional formula of charge? You see this. You can see here, charge we represent it by the symbol Q. This symbol is used for charge. Its SI unit is coulomb. We write it is capital C. It's clear? SI unit is C. SI unit is coulomb. Now what is the dimensional formula? It is what type of quantity? Scalar quantity. Scalar quantity. So as you know that this is the formula of electric charge. Electric charge equals to electric current into T. Q equals to I into T. I is electric current, which is a fundamental quantity. Time is also a fundamental quantity. What is the unit of electric current? Ampere. Unit of time is second. So what is the dimensional formula? It is AT. Dimensional formula of charge is AT. All of you remember this. This is very, very important. Dimensional formula of charge is AT. Now see here. Now after this, we will study about the properties of charges. So there is one property that like charges repel and unlike charges attract. But today we are going to study the basic properties of charges. This is the very first topic in your syllabus. So there are three basic properties of charges. Number one, charges are quantized. Then number two is charges are additive. And number three, charges are conserved. These are the three basic properties of the charges. Now I will explain what is the meaning of charges are quantized. Charges are quantized means all values of charges are not possible. Only some specific values of charges are possible. What is the charges are quantized? All values of charges are not possible. Only some specific values of charges are possible. As we know that charges are produced because of the transfer of electrons. And electron is having how much charge? It is equal to negative charge of 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. This we also call it the elementary value of the charge. This we also call it the electronic charge and represent by the E. What is the numerical meaning of the E? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. This is the elementary value of the charge. It's clear? And in our course, we will assume that electrons are indivisible particles. Though in the modern concept, electrons, protons and neutrons all are made up of quarks. It is given at the page number 5 in your book. You can read from there. But this is not in our course. Quark is not in our course. Up quark, down quark, this is not in our course. It's clear. So for our course, we will assume that electrons are indivisible particles. They cannot be further subdivided. It's clear. These are the fundamental particles: electrons, protons, and neutrons. And according to the modern concept, all are made up of quarks. So see here. As we know that charges are produced because of what? Because of the transfer of electron from one body to another. Suppose these two bodies are rubbed together, or this and this are rubbed together. So this will lose some electrons and this will gain some electrons. It's clear. Means suppose if it is losing 10 electrons, it will have how much positive charge? 10 times of this, 10 times of E. It's clear. If this is gaining 10 electrons, therefore it will have charge, negative charge equal to 10 times of E. It's clear. So bodies may have the charge in the whole number multiple, because electron will transfer in whole number. Either they will transfer 5 electron will get transferred, or 6 will transfer, or 8 will transfer, but 10.3 electrons cannot be transferred. 14.2 electrons cannot be transferred. Why? Because electron is indivisible particle. It will transfer in whole. It is clear. Therefore, charges are quantized, means all values of charges are not possible. Not possible. Only those values are possible which corresponds to some whole number of electrons. Only those values are possible values of charges are possible which corresponds to some whole number multiple of electronic charge. Now this we can state in the other way, that the charge possessed by any body will be the integral multiple. In place of saying whole number multiple, we will say that charge possessed by any body will be the integral multiple of the electronic charge. Why we are using integral multiple? Because the charge may be positive. Integral means here from integers. Integral means from integers here, not that integral which you are evaluating. Integers are +1, +2, +3, +4 and so on, 0 and -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on. So see here integral multiple of electronic charge means +1 times, +2 times, +3 times, or -1 times, -2 times, -3 times, -4 times, like that. It's clear. So charges are quantized means only those values of charges for which number of electrons comes out in whole number. If n comes out, suppose some value of charge is given, Q equals to 8.6 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb is given. Now it is asked whether this value of charge is possible or not. हमको ये पता करना है कि ये वैल्यू चार्ज की पॉसिबल है कि नहीं. Then what will you do? We will find out the number of electrons corresponding to this. 8.6 into 10 to the power -19 divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power -19, that is 86 upon 16. 16 5 ja 80 and 16 3 ja something. So this value of charge is not possible because the electrons comes out in the fraction. So this value of charge is not possible. What is the smallest value of charge? 1.6 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. What is the next higher value? That will be 3.2 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. No value of charge will be possible in between these two. What is the next higher value? That is 4.8 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. It's clear. So this is the meaning of charges are quantized. Then charges are additive. Charges are additive, as we know that there are two kinds of charges. One is the positive charge and other is the negative charge. So charges are additive means they can be added algebraically. They can be added with sign. Suppose this is a body which is firstly given plus 5 coulomb charge. Then it has been given minus 7 coulomb charge. What will be the net value of charge? Net value of charge will be minus 10 coulomb, 2 coulomb, minus 2 coulomb. It's clear? Means charges are additive. They can be added algebraically. They can be added with sign. This is the meaning of charges are additive. Then charges are conserved. Charges are conserved means neither they can be created nor they can be destroyed. Only they can be transferred from one body to another. Because if you take a glass rod, you know that it is consisting of equal amount of positive charge in form of protons and negative charge in form of electrons. Means it is electrically neutral. It is made up of atoms and atoms are electrically neutral because every atom is having same amount of negative charge as the positive charge. This is the silk cloth. The same applies for this. Initially, what is the net charge before rubbing? What is the net charge here? 0. Here it is 0. Means what is the total charge before rubbing? It is 0. Now you have rubbed together. After rubbing, what will happen? Glass rod will acquire a positive charge because of the transfer of electrons, and silk cloth will acquire a negative charge because of the gaining of electron. Suppose 10 electrons had transferred. So it will acquire this positive charge and it will acquire this negative charge. When 10 electrons will get transferred, it will acquire plus 10 E charge and it will acquire minus 10 E charge. What is the total charge? Total charge will be this plus this, that is equals to 0. Means whatever the charge before rubbing, the same amount of charge is after rubbing. Means charges are conserved. They can neither be created nor they can be destroyed. Only they can be transferred from one body to the other. So these are the three basic properties of charges, and when basic properties of charges are asked, you have to write only this. Now there is one more unit of charge that I have not told, microcoulomb. You remember microcoulomb, 1 microcoulomb equals to 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb. This is very much frequently used in the questions. Now see here, millicoulomb, 1 millicoulomb 10 to the power minus 3 coulomb. 1 nanocoulomb 10 to the power minus 9 coulomb. 1 picocoulomb 10 to the power minus 12 coulomb. So that you will remember. Now Coulomb's law. This is very important topic of this chapter, Coulomb's law. So according to the Coulomb's law, Coulomb's law tells about the force acting in between two static charges, that is electrostatic force. According to Coulomb's law, there exists force of attraction or repulsion in between 2 point charges situated in free space. Free space means vacuum. It's clear. Though later it was found that even if the charges are situated in some dielectric medium, you know what is dielectric medium? That is insulating medium. For example, air is an insulating medium. It's clear. Insulating medium through which charges cannot flow. So Coulomb's law was originally defined for the charges situated in vacuum, charges situated in free space. According to the Coulomb's law, there exists force of attraction or repulsion. Unlike charges attract, like charges repel. In between 2 point charges, here it was defined for point charges, means charge is situated at one point. Charge is not distributed over whole body. Charge is situated, it is concentrated at one point. So there exists force of attraction or repulsion in between 2 point charges situated in vacuum. Now see here, these are the 2 point charges Q1 and Q2. They are situated in vacuum at a distance r from each other. Now this force is known as electrostatic force. This force is known as electrostatic force. Why do we call electrostatic force? Force, static means at rest, electro means pertaining to charge, means force between static charges, force between charges at rest. It is clear? So this force is known as electrostatic force. We also call it as Coulombian force. Coulombian force. It is clear? Now this force is directly proportional to product of magnitude of charges. Magnitude of charges and inversely proportional to square of distance in between them. Means you can see once again the force between static point charges, it is given by the Coulomb's law. This force is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of charges. So one charge we have taken Q1, other we have taken Q2. So F proportional to Q1 into Q2 and F proportional to 1 upon R square. When we combine these two, what will you get? F proportional to Q1 Q2 upon R square. Now this sign of proportionality can be replaced by a equal sign using a dimensional constant. Up to now we have used dimensionless constant, but now we will use a dimensional constant in order to replace this. It is clear? So F equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. This is the formula of the force in between two static point charges situated at some distance apart in vacuum in free space. Now what is the value of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught? In SI unit its value is 9 into 10 to the power 9. 9 into 10 to the power 9. In SI unit its value is 9 into 10 to the power 9. So in numericals straightforward you can write F equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9 into Q1 Q2 upon R square. No need to write 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. This is a term epsilon naught, and what is this, that I will tell you afterwards. It is clear? So this is the formula of the force in between two static point charges situated in vacuum. Now we will deduce the unit of this dimensional constant. What is the unit of this dimensional constant? So see here, what is the dimensional constant? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Unit, its unit we will deduce. So you make its formula. So you bring this whole term in this side. When you will bring q1 q2 upon r square in this side, what will happen? It will invert and multiply with f. So fr square q1 q2. Now you write down the unit of all the quantity, Newton, r it is meter, so meter square. Here q1 q2 unit is coulomb, so coulomb into coulomb, means what will be the unit? Newton meter square per coulomb square, means here you can write it is Newton meter square per coulomb square. Now we will write the dimensional formula. Dimensional formula, because these questions have been asked in the board examination. What is the dimensional formula of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught? So you translate this unit in terms of the dimensional formula. Newton means MLT minus 2. Meter means L square. Here meter means L, here meter square, so L square. And coulomb, already I have told. What is dimensional formula of charge? AT. So it is minus 2, so it is A minus 2, T minus 2. When you will simplify, it will be ml 3t minus 4 A minus 2. This is the dimensional formula. Now as we know that 4 pi, it is a dimensionless quantity. It do not contribute anything in the dimension. So what is the dimensional formula of 1 upon epsilon naught? So dimensional formula of 1 upon epsilon naught will be same as this, because it is not contributing anything in the dimension. So see here, it is ml 3t minus 4a minus 2. What is dimensional formula of epsilon naught? So you can change the powers, because it is 1 upon epsilon naught. So epsilon naught will be m minus 1 L minus 3 T 4 A 2. Powers, you change the sign of the powers. It is clear? So this is the Coulomb's law. Now if the charges are, point charges are situated in some dielectric medium. So later it was found that force exists in that case also, when the charges are situated in some dielectric medium. Dielectric medium means space, intervening space is not free space. Intervening space is having some material, but that material do not conduct the charges. It is clear. For example, there is air. So in that case, the force will be slightly reduced. Force in medium, force in dielectric medium. It is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught K into Q1 Q2 upon R square, where K is what? Dielectric constant. Constant of dielectric medium. Dielectric means insulating medium, and it is a dimensionless quantity. Dimensionless quantity. This quantity do not have any dimension. It is clear. For air, its value is 1, and its value is 1, therefore F air will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. When you will substitute 1 here, so it will become 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 Q2 upon R square, means it is similar to the same which exists in when charges are situated in free space, means F vacuum. Means in vacuum and in air, force will remain same, but in any other medium other than air, value of K will be greater than 1. For other mediums, K is greater than 1. And when K will be greater than 1, so you can see from here, From here you know that this is what? Leaving K, rest is what? Force in vacuum. Leaving K, rest is force in vacuum. So you can write it as F vacuum upon K. Since K is greater than 1, therefore Fm will be less than F vacuum. Fm will be less than F vacuum. It's clear? Means there will be lesser charges, there will be lesser force, there will be smaller force when the charges are situated in some dielectric medium as compared to when they are situated at same distance in free space. It is clear? Now see here, as you know that pure water, it is also dielectric medium, and for pure water K is having what value? 80. Means suppose there are two charges situated at some distance in air having what force? 80 Newton. If now they are situated under water, in pure water, water means here pure water, then what will be the force? Force will become 1 Newton. Force will become 1 Newton, means it will be greatly reduced. It's clear? Now see here, so this is the force when charges are situated in some dielectric medium. Now what is the meaning of epsilon naught? Here there is a term epsilon naught. This we call permittivity of free space, and about this we will study in the next part in detail. Permittivity means it is the capability of electric lines of force. Ability of electric lines of force to penetrate a medium. It is found that electric lines of force passes very easily from one charge to another through free space. Through free space they can reach very easily from one charge to another. Electric lines of force are produced by the charges. Electric lines of force are produced by the charges. It's clear? They originate from the charges and they move very easily from one charge to another through free space. But if there is some dielectric medium, what will happen? They will find difficulty. They will not be able to penetrate so much, and therefore lesser number of electric lines of force will reach from one charge to other. And when lesser number of electric lines of force will reach from one charge to another, force will be reduced. Force will be reduced because lesser lines are reaching. It's clear? It is that these lines are interacting, because of which force is originating. It's clear? It is a non-contact force. So non-contact force develops because of the interaction of lines of force. Because of the interaction of lines of force. So if there is any medium, then what will happen? These lines of force which are originating from both the charges, they will reach lesser in number up to one another. It's clear? इसकी कुछ ही लाइन्स यहाँ से यहाँ पहुँच पाएंगी. Suppose producing 100 lines, only 20 lines will be able to reach here. This is also producing 150 lines, only 15 lines will be able to reach here. It's clear? Like that. Rest will be absorbed. It's clear? So this is the capability of penetration of electric lines of force. Capability of electric lines of force to penetrate a medium. It's clear? Now we will see the properties of Coulombian force and or electrostatic force. Properties of Coulombian force. So number one, Coulombian force or electrostatic force is a central force. Central force means it acts along the line joining the charges. It acts along the line joining the charges. Means the force which Q1 exerts on Q2 or Q2 exerts on Q1 will act along the same line. Suppose Q1 is positively charged, it is also positively charged. Q1 will repel to Q2, but it cannot repel in this direction. It cannot repel in this direction. It will repel along the line joining charges, means repelling in this direction. It's clear? Q1 will repel to Q2, so it will be repelling in this direction. This we name as F21. Similarly, Q2 will repel to Q1. It is F12. It's clear? It is the force acting on Q1 by the Q2. Force acting on Q2 by the Q1. So see here, which force will be stronger? So both the forces will be equal. Both the forces will be equal in magnitude, because the force is F12 or F21 is actually what? It is the force between Q1 Q2. F12 or F21 is what? F12 here I have stated force acting on Q1 because of Q2. F21 force acting on Q2 because of Q1. But it is actually force between Q1 and Q2, which is given by Q1 Q2 upon R square. So this you know from the Newton's law of action and reaction. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. So both forces will be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and they will act along the line joining the charges. Suppose one charge is positive charge, other is negative charge. Then what will happen? Q1 will attract to Q2. Attracting means force will act in this direction, F21. Similarly, Q2 will attract to Q1, force will act in this direction. Both forces will act along the line joining the charges. Now, how will you write this thing in vector form? Vector form of Coulomb's law. This is very, very important. Form of Coulomb's law. This is asked in the board examination in 1 mark. So, what is vector form? Vector F equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. This whole thing is scalar. Everything is scalar. How will you make vector? By using a unit vector. Unit vector, when you use unit vector, then it do not enhances the magnitude. It only provides the direction. It will not make any increase in the magnitude because it is multiplying. So unit vector R. Here unit vector R is what? Unit vector along line joining charges. Here this we will not remember in terms of F12 and F21. No need to remember, no need to use 1, 2 or 2, 1, no need. Only you remember in this form. If it is asked in board examination, you write only in this form. It's clear. So this is the first property, that Coulombian force is a central force. Then second property, it is a conservative force. Conservative force means work done by the electrostatic force do not depend upon the path. Work done by, this is the conservative force. Work done by the electrostatic force do not depend upon the path, just like the gravitational force. So this we will discuss in the electric field. And third is obeys inverse square rule. Inverse square rule. That is F proportional to 1 upon R square. Means it decreases with increase in distance, decreases with increase in distance. It is clear. Means if you make the distance between two charges from r to 2r, force will decrease 4 times. If here force is F, then here it will become F upon 4. So this is all about in the first part of this chapter, electric charges. Now in the next lecture we will do the numericals of this topic, Coulomb's law. Thank you.